Oh, I wanna be the one to hold you close, 'cause you're the only one I'm dreaming of. My love, my love, my love, my love.
It could be a touchy subject, you know, because we're talking about insecurities and dealing with these insecurities. And insecurities is a touchy subject, and it's a character flaw, to be honest, that's hard for human beings to accept or to acknowledge, especially men, you know, because we associate insecurities or being insecure with a form of weakness.
Oh, that's
and, you know, when we admit it or acknowledge or we're aware of these flaws that we have as human beings, which we all have,
right,
it challenges our ego,
right?
You know, because we all have a reputation and we have a standard, or we have an idea of who we believe that we are, or how people should perceive us to be.
Right.
So just acknowledging or admitting that you're insecure is very humbling, right?
Yeah.
And it can actually have you'll be vulnerable, right?
So are you saying that there is a persona around who we want people to think that we are?
Absolutely. And I have a question. I'm going to ask you guys in the comment section. Do you believe that
Brittany?
insecurities or being insecure is common among humanity? If you do, put yes. If you don't believe that, put no. If you believe that it's common to have insecurities or to be insecure, put yes or no in the comment section. And I want to share just a few thoughts or facts about insecurities or being insecure. Is that it is common.
It is.
So as our date nighters people here, look, you do not have to be ashamed or feel less than.
Absolutely.
If you feel that you have some self-confidence issues, or you might be some areas in your lives or your character, it might be a little shaky.
Yeah.
You know, so it's common among a lot of people, right? And another thing that is okay, because we are human.
We're human beings.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you have any insecurities
Oh,
or ever
absolutely.
felt insecure?
Absolutely. I have plenty of insecurities.
We got a lot of yeses,
I have a lot of different insecurities that I talk about on a regular. And sometimes when I bring up certain insecurities, it will make Steve uncomfortable. And he has to be like, yo, that's not, I'm not even looking at that like that. You know?
No.
Because I got 2 stomachs.
Yes, we got a lot of
I had C-sections. I had 3 C-sections, and I carried almost 9-pound babies.
Right.
So... yeah, you know, we have insecurities. Everybody has them.
And here's the thing about it, honey, is that having insecurities doesn't mean that you are insecure. So I just want to say that again. Having insecurities don't mean that you are insecure.
That's so true.
If you are watching tonight, and I know a lot of people probably seen or saw the headline or title or topic of tonight's date night, and might have attached a negative connotation to it, or might have thought like it's there times when we're not self-aware or we have an ego or reputation, we'll kind of retract, or we won't accept the fact that we all are human and we have things that we're insecure about.
And we all have them.
Right.
Yeah, we all have them. And it's not a shot at us because we all deal with a certain level of insecurities. It's just, it's a real human to human thing. Like, we have them. We all experience them.
Ooh-wee.
And no fault of our own sometimes.
Right.
We just deal with certain things that we don't like.
Right. I think you have some people that can relate. We have Ebony says she has 4 C-sections here.
Ebony.
Look, we got
Listen, and
2
that stomach don't bounce back, girl. That
from
stomach.
Christian has 2.
Listen.
Monica, me too. 1
Listen.
C-section. I feel like I had a C-section.
Ain't
I
no
need
muscle
one.
there. Ain't no
Tummy
muscle
tuck.
there. That stomach it's just there.
Right.
Okay? It's
Right.
just there.
So all of us have them, right?
Absolutely.
But here is an enlightenment or aha for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The problem occurs when we won't acknowledge or we won't manage or deal with our insecurities.
Right.
And in the context of romantic relationships or marital relationships, when it spills over into that context, that's when it can be very detrimental.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be a disaster to your relationship.
Yeah.
And that's when it can become a problem, when it's uncontrolled.
Yeah.
When it's out of control, or when you embody that thing in your nervous system so bad to where it actually takes over who you are, right? And it calls you to be a different character.
Yes.
And it affects a lot of different areas of your life. You know, we have it, but it can't have us, right?
Right.
Right. So it's important. So can you kind of talk about like what it is though? Like what is insecurity?
So insecurity is like, it's an uncertainty about ourselves. It's like an anxiety or an uncertainty about ourselves. It's a lack of confidence.
Right.
In certain areas of our lives.
Right.
You know, that's what insecurity is,
Right.
you know, and generally, like we said before, we all have them,
Right.
you know, and it's not based on, I don't want to say it's not based on one particular thing, but sometimes you can look in the mirror and just be like, oh, I wish I could change that
Right.
part of me, you
Right.
know.
And it, some things makes us self-conscious.
Yeah.
And some things are actually derives from real insecurities, real lack of
right.
confidence. And there's a quote though, and I want people to know that if you're watching tonight, I don't want you to be embarrassed. You know, I don't want any, you know, because I know a lot of people are out there, especially in relationships, they go through and, you know, they have maybe their spouse or both of them collectively might have insecure issues.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for them to really overcome, and it causes a lot of pain, you know, a lot of friction in their relationship. However, you're human. You know, I don't want to justify it, but I don't want anybody to ever feel embarrassed. And here's a quote about character. And your character isn't shaped by what you do some of the time, but it's shaped by what you do most of the time, right?
That's good.
So it's important that we deal with these insecurities before they turn into real habits, and our habits will ultimately dictate the quality of our life, right?
Right.
Because that's why you see like a lot of grown boys,
That's
you know,
so
because
true.
these things don't just go away; they actually grow up with you, right?
They do.
Man, if you don't deal with them, they grow up and they become like when you're little, that thing might be a little. If you're 50 years old, that doggone devil, whatever you want to call it, that negative energy, that character flaw, that insecurity or whatever we deal with is a grown man, right? But you're still a boy. But that thing is actually a grown man, right?
You view it like a little boy, or we view it like a little girl or a little boy, but it's grown into an adult size monster.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How many of you have how many of you dealt with insecurities as a child that you no longer deal with? If you have, put them in the comment section. Like if you were talked about because you had a big forehead, or you know because you had a big head, or you know you had a dookie booty, or
Look at mine.
you know what I
mine.
mean?
Nothing wrong with
like
a dookie booty.
no, ain't nothing wrong with a dookie booty right now. But maybe when you was a little kid, maybe it wasn't the cutest thing on your body.
Right.
You know, for me growing up, I was dark skinned before dark skin was a real thing, right? I was dark skinned when everybody thought dark skin was horrible, okay? They like, ooh, tart baby, ooh, skillet, ooh, you black, you this, you that.
Wow.
So I've been called every
Look
black.
how fine you are now.
Listen,
girl. Look at your tail, girl.
okay. Listen, but I was called, and then not to just mention that I was dark skinned, I was also heavy set. So I was dark skinned and heavy. Was not cute at the time, right? I had my own insecurities about my looks, not my dark skin, because my parents made sure I knew my dark skin did not make me unattractive. Okay. Right. I knew for sure that my dark skin was one of the hottest things I had. Right, okay. But I was insecure because I was heavy and I was dark skinned. So growing up, that's all you would hear. Yeah. And people would try to put that insecurity on you. Right. But as I grew older, as I matured, as I became a little bit older, I knew like, hey, my dark skin is beautiful. You know, my dad will always say that, or my grandfather would always say, or, you know, growing up, people would always say, oh, your skin is beautiful. Or guys back in the day would be like, you cute to be dark skinned. And I'd be like, no, I'm just cute. Like I don't know.
But it took a toll on you as when you were younger, you know, by people.
When I was younger, it absolutely
shows you that
did.
Insecurity is actually a thief. You know, it actually steals your confidence. It actually can steal a lot of great moments, or even opportunities, even out of the context of relationships. When you're insecure, or when you have insecurity, or when you are insecure, because there's a difference.
Yes.
When you embody that thing, it could cause you to lose a lot of opportunities. I know there are a lot of people that want to start businesses, and I know this is a side note, but I think it's important. You know, a lot of people want to start businesses, but they lack the confidence. You know, you want to move on in your life, but you lack confidence. You want to apply for that promotion, but you lack confidence.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that derives from some place.
Yeah.
You know, because here's the thing about insecurities. Insecurities, they just don't show up, right?
Yeah.
You know, you wasn't born with it. They're actually taught. This emotional state or this belief systems that we have, it's kind of like religion or anything else. Riding a bike, none of it, we're not born with it.
Yeah,
we're born with certain talents that could be cultivated. But when it comes to like emotional instability or some type of perception or the way you see yourself, a lot of that actually is, all of it is taught,
right?
But it can be reversed. So did that happen in your life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that growing up, it was a taught thing. It was like a learned thing because everybody else saw me as not attractive, right? Or not beautiful, right? And so it was almost like a impression that was pressed upon you. It wasn't like it was your own thought, because I didn't have any thoughts about what I looked like until I started hearing people say negative things like, oh, she too dark, or, you know, she this or she that. But the cool thing about it was based on what I felt about myself and based on the household that I grew up in and my dad and my brothers or my grandfather, I knew that I was beautiful. So it was reversed. The effects of it was reversed because it was somebody there combating the negative influences that were out there in the world speaking negatively to me.
Right. And that shows you guys, especially one of the most important decisions that you can make in your life is choosing a partner.
Yeah.
You know, and
man, that's good.
And the words of a partner could either take you to heaven or take you to hell.
Yeah.
It can build you up or tear you down. So the people that
Same thing with the parent.
Exactly.
Same thing with the
parents,
parent.
partner, pastors.
Yep.
Those are some of the most significant people in your lives that could either make you or break you.
Yeah, that can build you or tear you down.
Right. But in your instance, although the words were negative in the beginning and they tried to tear you down and hold you down, but the beliefs or the perception of you was changed by hearing something different.
By hearing things differently.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a scripture, you know, not to get into the Bible, but we read the good book and we love the principles and all that good stuff in the Word of God. And it talks about, you know, faith come by hearing and hearing by the Word of God.
Absolutely.
But really, that's a law. Faith come by hearing and whatever you listen to the most.
The most, yes.
So
and whatever you listen to
it's
the
your
most.
belief. So when we hear these things, it can actually shape our character, right? And really hurt our opportunities and damage our relationships because we actually embody this insecurity. And it's unfortunate because we got a lot of wonderful people out there. And I've seen, babe, a lot of beautiful women. And I respectfully say that, you know how we get them. We see beauty. They're beautiful. But internally, they think that they're ugly.
Yeah, or they don't think that they're good enough.
Right?
Yeah.
And it
or
really
that they're valuable.
Yeah, or a young man that's talented, that have a lot of potential, but because of his experiences with words or because of his belief system or because he was emotionally damaged through the words, directly, indirectly, and experiences or whatever, it actually held him down. But here's the thing, guys, ladies and gentlemen, date nighters, it can be reversed.
Yes.
Right?
It can.
We do not have to be insecure.
Yeah, we don't. Yes.
Right?
I agree with that.
Yeah, but where does it, babe, think about it. Where does it come from? Where does insecurity, where do they derive from, if any at all?
So there are a lot of ways that insecurities can come about. One, I would say, is a pre-existing insecurity, and those are the things that we hear in our home growing up.
Right. So we would say we can actually name them down. Like a lot of insecurities come from, and I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to name a few.
Yeah.
And we can kind of just kick it about that. We have a lot of comments, and I want to be able to engage, but we want to make sure that we hit these points, and we're going to get with you guys in a minute, or just have this conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of insecurities derive from, number one, childhood trauma.
Yes.
From bad relationships, bad parenting, crises, heartbreak.
Yes.
Failure, rejection.
Yes.
abandonment,
Yes.
if you've been cheated on, if you've
Yes.
been adopted or neglected, if you've been talked down to, if you've been bullied from a child, these things actually shape, man. They shape who we are if we believe it. And a lot of times when you're in that vulnerable state and you have no identity when you're younger, you're vulnerable. A little baby is taught everything.
Yes.
And they learn quickly.
Yep. And the moment you say something like, "Oh, with your big old head," and we thinking that it's cute and it's funny in the moment, right? Because it probably is cute and funny and innocent.
Yes.
But then you keep saying it and you keep saying it, and it causes an inferiority complex or an insecurity in that individual, and we don't even recognize it. Sometimes as parents, we put those things off on our children and we don't even recognize it. Sometimes the insecurities that we dealt with or we are dealing with on our own, we put them off. We project them off to our children. And they might not have even been dealing with it. That might not have even been an issue for them. But because it was an issue for us, we projected that issue onto them. Oh, your forehead is too big. Oh, let me cut you some bangs because your forehead just a little bit too big. Or, oh, boy, I got to buy you a big head hat. Or, or, look at that belly.
Making it a joke, right?
Yeah. We don't even recognize the insecurity or the level of insecurity that we put onto people or onto small children, and how we affect them growing up because it leaves them feeling like they're not good enough. And so just imagine that child feeling like they're not good enough and then growing up constantly still hearing those things because that negative connotation is on them. That's what they attract, right? Now people on the playground like, yo, big forehead. Now you in high school and people are like, you need to get some bangs, your head big. And so now that monster is growing, it's festering, it's growing. And now it's full grown and you're trying to have a relationship with someone. And now that insecurity is coming out in your relationship.
Right. Like you said, from a child, like parenting, that's why it's so important. And I find myself a lot like just slapping myself in the back of the head, especially with girls, because we are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And a lot of times things are passed down generationally. If your parents did something one way, you're going to reproduce that. You're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's important.
Good or bad sometimes.
Right, good or bad. But it's important that we identify that thing and challenge our thoughts or our behaviors to see if it's effective or if it's wrong or not. Because certain methods that our parents probably used actually damaged us.
Yes.
They done things because of knowledge and things that was passed down to them, right?
That is so good. And I think sometimes we don't recognize that, right? Because we're used to just doing things because that's how we saw them done, right?
We think it's the right thing to do.
And we think that it's the right thing to do, but what we don't realize is we don't take an account for our own selves or our own lives. Like, oh, I didn't like the way, daddy said that when he would discipline me like this or when he would say this and that. And then what we do is we go and we spew it out to our children and then they start to deal with certain things that we dealt with.
Yeah,
but
man.
Unbeknownst to us because we never checked that thing.
Right. Yeah, and it's a part of a cycle. It's a terrible cycle, but that's why we do what we do. Not because we're psychotherapists, like we're psychologists or neuroscientists or anything. We're just people that lived a little bit. We failed enough. Yeah. We still fail, but we learn, we grow, we teach, right? Yeah. So that's why we do what we do to balance out the noise, because there are a lot of like different. It's a lot of nonsense, especially like in the next generation. The way the things that they adopt aren't productive. They're counterproductive to not all of them, right? But just certain mindsets and certain. You got girlfriends telling a married woman like all the bad stuff. You got your homeboys. They ain't never had a wife, and they telling you leave or do this or whatever. And it's like, man, you drinking from the wrong tea, right? So that's what we do. What we do, So insecurity. This is a huge thing, and I have a little story about that too, babe, because growing up, just to share my story a little bit, guys, y'all got 5 hours? You got 10 hours? But seriously, this is a short version, but I grew up in the city of Detroit as well as you. And but I was
Joy Road,
we're city of Detroit.
Southwest.
Repping Michigan, right. Joy Road, Birdwood. Anybody from Birdwood? No.
Joy Road?
No, but I remember when I was younger, I was raised by my grandparents.
Yes.
I think I was 4 years old, and my mom allowed my grandparents to become my guardians, or my legal guardians. Period. They actually were my parents. And I didn't know my father growing up. I remember my father. Well, at that time, so-called father, he was supposed to be my father. I would see him every 5, maybe 10 years, and he would leave and he would make promises. So and my mom, she's a good woman, but she had her own issues. And I don't want to get into family issues because we don't want no drama in the comments section. But it's my story, right?
It is.
And it's no judgment and it's no blaming anybody. However, it was rough. I grew up, not thinking that I was nice looking because there were name calling. There was some abuse. There were, emotional, verbal. There were a lot of things that shaped me, and I was insecure. I didn't think that I was good enough. I didn't think that I was educated enough. I believe that I had extreme. I'm just now finding out that what I'm dealing with now is extreme anxiety.
Really? Yeah.
Because being a child, it was so traumatic. I had a lot of trauma and drama in my life. Then grew up, as this guy, trying to find my way, really with grandparents died, but really no direction. Then I got into church and all that, but still, was still a lot going on. Then I got married when I in my early 20s. I brought all that baggage, all that insecurity in my relationship, and then that was a disaster. And I remember, just long story short, I remember we were married about a year, almost 2 years. And this is when I really knew that I had self-confidence issues.
Okay.
When I knew that I had things that need to be dealt with.
So I don't think I've ever heard this story.
Well, I remember when you went to Dr. Phil for the Ultimate Weight Loss Challenge, right?
Yes. Shout out Dr.
Shout out
Phil.
to Dr. Phil.
Ultimate Weight Loss Race,
we went,
2008.
Right. But I had a lot of pain. I was angry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, and that's one thing about insecurities. A lot of character flaws, you don't really know that they're there.
Yeah.
Until they actually come out,
That's
right?
good
And we'll
stuff.
talk about the subconscious and the conscious mind or your heart in a minute. However, I remember you had left to go to Dr. Phil. But here's the catch. When I would call you, they wouldn't let me talk to you.
Right.
I guess because of the contract, I couldn't know where you were, what city you were in, what you were doing, what you was eating. And I'm like, hold on, bro. I got my daughter is a year and a half. Where is my wife? And you couldn't pick up the phone. And I was tripping. I'm like, where you at?
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all, look.
Yes.
I was tripping. I'm like, where you at? What you mean? Why
you
y'all
can't
mean I
answer the phone?
Why you can't answer the phone?
Yes.
And all this and thinking back.
Like, I'm on a TV show.
Right,
You can see
But
me.
when you've had a lot of abandonment issues, I felt abandoned.
Yeah.
I felt threatened because of my previous relationship. That didn't work. I felt like a failure. There was a lot of symptoms, if you will, of because look, check it out. Insecurity's got cousins. And the big cousin's name is jealousy and control.
Yes.
Jealousy and control.
Yes.
Those are insecurity big cousins.
Yeah.
And I was very jealous because I had self-confidence issues. And I thought because my mama wasn't there like I needed her to, my daddy wasn't there, nobody loved me. Guess what I had? I was this man of God trying to be a man of God. I got a divorce. I'm like angry. And now this.
So is it safe to say that you felt that the insecurities allowed you or made you feel irrational?
Absolutely.
To a certain extent?
Absolutely.
Have
And
irrational
my
thoughts?
actions were, and plus it was a cultural stance. It was
Okay.
a learned behavior, about controlling.
Okay.
Of being dominant. And it was unconscious because I never really done that.
Right.
But when you get into these certain moments, as you reflect, you notice that you have those same behaviors
Wow.
and you're mimicking what you've seen as a child.
Right.
So long story short, I knew, like, you know what? My wife.
And
go ahead.
and what's crazy is he was having all of this. He was having this whole experience, and I wasn't even there.
Right.
Like I wasn't even around.
I was traumatized.
Yeah, like I wasn't even around to experience this ordeal with him.
Right.
So it's crazy because I've never heard this portion of this story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but just to end it, but that's when I really knew, like, you know what, Steve? You got to deal with this. You got to deal with your abandonment issues. You have to gain self-worth and same self-value.
Wow.
You have to know who you are as a man. If a woman decides to cheat on you and leave you, shame on them.
Right.
You are a man, you will make it.
Right.
So I had to build my esteem. And of course that came through, knowledge, through like going to church and different people that I would see. But it wasn't really anything that people could say that could change me. I had to believe it within myself.
Wow.
So as I got like value and knew who I was as a man, you know, like you're wonderful. You're my everything. But honey, you don't make me.
Right.
You complete me.
Right.
But you don't make me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
You
good.
add, I don't know what I would do without you, but I have to, if you wasn't with me, I would have to be the man that I am.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
I had to gain that self-confidence. So
That's
just a long story
good.
short, it's a long story. I can be here all day, but
No,
a lot
that's good.
of
That's good.
issues mentally, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of rejection, and I knew that it had to stop because it was stressful. It was unhealthy. Why worry about things that had not even happened
Yeah,
yet?
or that are even out of your control.
Plus, I had a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
But my baggage, I looked at you from the eyes or the lens of my past.
Right.
And I didn't want you to leave me. Right. I didn't want to be hurt anymore.
Right.
But I thank God that I was able to come out of that and to know who you were, but more importantly, know who I am as a man. Right?
Yes.
So men, you gotta look, if you're dealing with
Jeez, that was
insecurities,
so good.
you have to know who you are as a man. Look, I know culturally we had issues, you know, we've had insecurities that we couldn't really speak of because
Yeah.
we men, you know, we hoop, you know, we listen to hip hop, you know, we don't have these, it's weak. But if you deal with it, bro, look, you can reverse that thing and you can have an excellent life. On top of
Wow.
that, an excellent relationship with the person that you're with, right?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
done took over the whole date night.
That's
Sorry, y'all,
what's
but
up,
I just
though.
felt that was needed.
That's what's up. You know, because the fact of the matter is insecurities will have us being irrational.
Yes.
It'll have us having
Yes.
a fear of being
That's
like
right.
unlovable. You know, like she said, yes, the first step is
Self-awareness,
self-awareness. And
yes.
we do have to be self-aware.
And that comes through humility, vulnerability, and honesty, right?
Yes.
Right.
We have to be honest with ourselves
Yes.
and say, hey,
Got
I'm
to, man.
feeling these feelings.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with feeling how we feel.
Right.
It's addressing the fact that we feel the way we feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And dealing with it. Because if we don't
That's
deal
right.
with it,
Laying
we
down
take
pride.
it. We take it into our relationships, and he could have put that thing off on me, and could have made me feel some type of way, and then that could have brought friction to our relationship.
Yeah.
And who knows, we may not be here
Yeah,
today
man.
because of
Right.
it. Because I don't deal with that type of stuff,
Right, because
y'all.
divorce
You know?
does not
I'm
judge.
joking.
You know, it's seriously
doesn't.
like you can be two wonderful people and it not work.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very grateful that you had patience with me.
Yeah.
That I was able to, because we came from two different households.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, two different family dynamics. And I was a broken dude. You know, and trauma is a real thing, y'all. That's why I'm an advocate for like therapy, and a lot of sometimes religious people don't
Yeah.
really like it. But look,
Yeah.
look, bump that, man. Look, God put therapists in this planet.
Absolutely. He
People
made
with
them just like he made you
specialized
and me.
knowledge to help you. You know, if you're fat and you want to lose weight, where you go?
You going to the gym, or you
Right.
gonna get you a personal trainer,
Right,
Because they the
exactly.
experts.
Yes. So I want to encourage you all. You know, just this is hitting home.
Yeah.
It really is.
But you know what? Insecurity does hit home because a lot of us deal with those things, and we
Yeah.
don't even realize
Man, I'm telling you.
how much baggage we have
Yes.
until we get into a relationship with
Ooh-wee.
somebody and they're dealing with insecurities.
Yes.
I'm dealing with insecurities, and we trying to figure things out, and it's just spilling over and spilling over, and we're never getting a resolve because neither one of us have dealt with what our issues are as individuals.
Right, because we don't take time to, because it takes a lot of humility.
It does.
And like the sis said, self-awareness, but you can only be self-aware is if you stop blaming other people.
Yeah.
And not playing the victim.
Right.
And not judging everybody else, but really sit with yourself. And I want to challenge everybody. It's been a lot going on in 2020, y'all. It's been with the coronavirus, with social injustices, with the presidential drama, and a lot of stuff going on. So there's a lot of stress and
It is.
anxiety.
It is.
You know, so if you want a better year for next year, I want to challenge y'all to sit down with yourself. Tell the kids, look, tell your husband, your boyfriend, your boo, look, I need 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I need this weekend. Let me sit with myself and understand the tones of my heart.
Yeah.
To challenge my thoughts. What's in my head? Do I really think this way?
Yeah.
Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? Why am I reacting the way that I'm reacting? Why do I have this same pattern expecting different results?
Right.
You know, what's in me? You know what I'm saying? So we have to, whether you believe in God or not, you can still do that. It's still
Yeah.
practical.
Yep.
To sit with yourself and say, you know what? I know that I'm better than what I'm performing.
Right.
what do I need to do, or what do I need to acknowledge and change in order to get the outcome that I want? You want more, right?
That's good, honey.
Right?
That's good, honey. I'm very proud of you for even taking that step and just and sharing that, because that's very personal. And a lot of times we don't get personal. We don't talk about the things that plague us. We don't talk about the hindrances that we've had in our own lives, or the pitfalls that we've had in our own lives. And sometimes because of that, we can't help anybody.
Right.
Because everybody's out here looking at us like, or not looking at us, but looking at other people and saying like, oh, they're perfect, or I wish I had what they have, or, oh, they look like they got the like a beautiful family, but you don't know, like, people really go through.
Yes.
People have really experienced some really traumatic and bad things in their lives that have shaped them to be who they are, and sometimes we have to give room for people to come to the realization that, hey, I need help, and it's me.
Right.
It's me. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with you.
Right.
My insecurity it has everything to do with me and nothing to do with you, and I have to address that. And like you said, sit with ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it's important. It really is.
Yeah, but like with social media, and Brittany says social media, absolutely.
Yeah, Brittany.
And we're so busy. Like they say now, that our attention span is shorter than a goldfish.
Yeah.
So I think it's like 7 seconds or something like that.
Listen, my attention span always only been 3 seconds.
And think about it, the algorithm, social media, they feed you. There's a thing that's called the algorithm. And the algorithm is a tech term. It's a machine. It's a processor system. And how it's structured in a way to where it has what you call syntax, and it has rules. So in other words, algorithms on social media, if you watch one video, they'll continue to give you what they think that you like, right? So if you look at one conspiracy, there is video on YouTube, whether it's Google, because their content, they want to give you what you want.
They want to give
it's
you what
all
you
about,
want. Yeah. They want to give
you
you
the
what
best
you search
social
for.
experience. Like, for instance, if you look at a person online, it's called retargeting. You see that person to follow you around everywhere because they want to give you what you want. So this is the problem with the algorithm, that it bombards you with whatever information or whatever taste buds you have.
Yes.
So if you're looking at porn a lot, guess what? Or women a lot, is going to show up.
It's going to follow you.
If you're looking at hate crimes, it's going to follow you.
It's going to follow you.
If you're looking at negative news, it's going to continue to do that. And it's
right.
causing us to be dumber and dumber. And although we're the most smartest generation, the next generation, we're the most dumbest because we have so much information, and it's hard for us to decipher between what's true and what's not. But here's what the algorithm do, just like your nervous system and your mind does. It'll play these movies, continue to show you these things. And there's a thing that's called the subconscious and the conscious mind. And I'm sure everybody heard about the conscious mind.
Yeah.
Now, the conscious mind is, this is like a date night takeover.
Let's go,
sorry,
baby.
I don't mean
baby, go. I'm enjoying you. Go.
Conscious mind is the state of awareness. And I just want to read this real quick about the conscious mind. The conscious mind contains all of our thoughts, right? All of our feelings, all of our memories and wishes, in which we are aware of at any given moment, right?
Okay, that's
so
good.
Conscious mind is something that we know, like we know that we're online right now, you know, chilling with our date nighters. I know what's in this glass right now. I can feel that I'm passionate right now. It's a conscious state of being, right? But the unconscious mind is a reservoir of feelings. A reservoir is a storage unit or a place where you store things, your feelings, your thoughts, your urges, memories that are outside of your conscious awareness. And let me tell you this,
so
guys.
you can tap into that without knowingly tapping into that.
And here's the thing, the power of that's why a lot of people are insecure. Here's the point. A lot of people are insecure and they don't even know it. Our subconscious mind dominates our life. What's in us will come out. Our outer game, our outer world is a reflection of our inner world,
Wow.
And in our nervous system or our body and our mind, we have what you call triggers.
Yes.
And I'm sure everybody know about those triggers.
Yes.
And we have movies or these narratives or music that's playing in our subconscious or our background that actually dictate our lives. And if you think about it, just to prove my point, have you ever listened to a song? No, you didn't listen to a song. You were probably riding in the car, and maybe the kids were watching something, and 10 days later,
watermelon sugar high.
right? And you didn't know
Watermelon sugar
consciously,
high.
you didn't know that you knew
What?
that horn section, like da-da-da, da-da. But when it came on, like, how did I actually know this? I never
Right.
practiced it. I never knew
listened to it.
consciously that it
Yeah.
was in my reservoir. But as soon as you hear that song, the horn section, bop, 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 where did that come from? The same thing in our lives and in our relationship.
Babe,
Once
that's
he
so
grabbed
good.
that phone or do things that might be familiar to you,
Ooh,
that was traumatic
trigger.
to you, trigger, horn section, bop, 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 bop.
Who is
Angry.
that?
You
Yep.
were rejected. You were
Yep.
abandoned. Who is that you talking to?
Yep.
You don't love me. I hate you
Oh, babe.
because of what you've experienced. And it's in your heart, and out of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth speaks.
the mouth speaks, y'all. So,
Wow,
and I'm
honey,
not
that was-
judging,
that was
but this
so
is the
good.
power of our subconscious mind. Is a lot of people, especially a lot of men, we're not connected to our emotions.
Yeah.
And we don't even know that we're bound by insecurities, man.
Babe, you are on fire
I'm on
tonight.
fire.
Listen.
Give me some hearts, man.
Listen.
Cash at me if you think I'm on fire.
Listen. A lot of the times we don't recognize that you can be in a good relationship. You could be having
Yeah.
a good relationship.
Yes.
And like you said, bam, trigger.
Trigger.
You pick up that phone.
It's
Who
nothing
you-
that they done though.
No, it ain't nothing that they've done.
Right.
It's just a trigger for you.
Yes.
Who is that? Or they don't pick up their phone.
Yeah.
Cause they sitting there, they playing a video game, or you doing your hair and your phone ring, you look at it,
Yeah.
you put it down. Who is that?
Right.
How come you ain't answer the phone? Why you ain't answering the phone? What's the problem? Who you talking to? Who
Yeah.
is that? Why? What you trying to wait until I leave
Ooh-wee.
to talk to them?
Right.
Triggers like that, babe. That is so true. That happens more often than not because
All of the time.
and it don't have nothing to do with the person you're in the relationship
Right.
with. It could be something that happened 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But because we didn't deal with the insecurity that somebody may have put on us, or the insecurity that we've been dealing with, you know, or the lack of confidence in ourselves, or the lack of trust with the other person, or maybe not even the other person, the lack of trust with the opposite sex or whomever you are in a relationship with, we put those things
on us.
off on the other
On them.
person.
Exactly.
Man.
And unknowingly, because, and just from our experiences, because look at this. Look, guys, look, we got the lights in the back. We got the nice camera action, and we sounding good. But we've dealt with insecurities as well.
Absolutely.
We have things that we're still overcoming.
Yes.
Things that we have to unlearn. Things that we have to deprogram ourselves and reprogram ourselves with things that are productive and not things that are counterproductive.
Yeah.
Because a lot of limits that we have in our lives is because of our beliefs.
Yep.
Not of our conscious beliefs, but our subconscious beliefs, right?
Yes.
And just to share with our date nighters, I remember there was a moment to where I would say something to you and you would get offended as if I was shutting you up,
Oh,
right? As if I was trying to dominate you. But you know probably consciously that I don't try to control or dominate you.
Right, not at all.
Because I'm not that type of guy.
Right, not
but
at
where
all.
did that come from? Because you said a particular thing from me, to me about your upbringing, how people tried to shut you up,
oh,
you know?
really?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So yeah. So growing up, when you would talk or something like that, and people be like, "Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about." Or, "Shut up! That's dumb."
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we all grew up with siblings, right? Or most of us grew up with siblings, and I was not the youngest, but I was right before my younger brother. Okay, so I was the second from the youngest. And growing up, you would hear it all the time, like, "Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up and punch you in your chest. Shut up! Shut up! That sounds stupid," or "That's dumb." Like, "Be quiet! You don't know what you're talking about." And when you hear that so much, when you're trying to say something that you know what you're talking about, and somebody is not telling you to shut up,
just challenging you,
or just
even,
oh my
even
God.
challenging a thought.
I
You
would
know,
be like,
right.
like, "Are you trying to tell me to shut up? Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. You calling me dumb or something? Like, I
Right.
don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I didn't research this and studied it. And you trying to tell me to shut up? Like, I know
Right.
that's not what you're trying to say." But that's not what he would be trying to say. He would just be trying to get a better understanding of what I was saying, or challenge what I was saying, or challenge what I was thinking,
Right.
to bring more out of it, or bring more out of me, to get more perspective. And
Right.
because you're so used to hearing "shut up," "be quiet," you don't know what you're talking about, "Oh, that's dumb," "Oh, that's stupid."
Right.
then you believe that that's dumb and that's stupid, and you believe you're trying to be shut up. So that was an insecurity for me, like growing up. So when me and Steve first got together and he would like challenge or have something to say when I'm saying something, I would be so upset. Like, really?
Right. And you've actually said this to me verbatim. That's the word, right? Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm smart. You said, I'm not stupid.
Yes.
I'm not stupid. And that was an indicator that you had an issue.
Yeah.
Initially, I didn't think that it was an insecure issue, but in hindsight, you see that it was an insecure issue.
Yes.
Because if you're not right, I'm going to challenge it.
Yeah.
If you say something, or if I give an opinion, that doesn't mean that I'm disregarding what you said.
Yeah.
I might be adding to, or just challenging or creating dialogue, but that does not mean that I was trying to shut you up or make you feel less than. You know, and that's a problem with a lot of black women in the feminist community right now.
Listen.
That's why they don't tell us we're gonna change everything. So anything you say, anything a man says is like you feel like, no, it's our turn. Okay, it's your turn.
Yeah.
But remember, we still need one another. And I'm still the man in my house, regardless of what people think. You know, I'm still responsible for my household. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be aware of some of the things that are going on right
That's
now,
good stuff, babe.
Give us some hearts, man. Give us some hearts.
My husband is on point. Stop eating them chips and you will stop.
No, I'm kidding.
But that's so true. And then growing up in a time where, like for me, like, so I had a lot of brothers, okay? And so, like, being smart was not a thing. Like, for me, I knew I was smart. Like, I was very intelligent. I could talk with the best of them. I was a oratorical winner. Like, I was very, very smart, you know?
Oratorical.
But growing up, like, my brothers, everything that's dumb. Like, like, I ain't getting good grades. That's dumb. Right. Like, that's how I thought. And that's what I took on, right? But knowing that I was smart, if somebody challenged me, I would be like, I'm not stupid. Right. Even though I was behaving in a manner that was contrary to what I thought about myself or felt that I was capable of.
Right.
And that caused insecurities in me, like in our relationship early on. If he would say something that challenged me, I would retreat back. Like, I'm not stupid.
Right.
Because I wasn't stupid.
Right.
You know, and
I wasn't calling you
and you
stupid.
weren't calling me
I
stupid.
wasn't implying
but
that
it was
you were
a
stupid
feeling that I felt because, I got bad grades. You must be, are you stupid? And I'm like, I know I'm not stupid, but my brother said it ain't cool to get good grades. So I'm not going to get good grades. I'm going to be dumb and misbehave because I want to be cool. You know what I mean? And knowing that you're not stupid,
but not really knowing. No, you actually believe that. I mean, you actually
had an experience with that.
But here's the thing, though. And I stand corrected if I'm wrong.
Yes.
But I don't believe that you really felt that you were smart.
No, I did.
Right. Your subconscious. I think that was a defense mechanism, though. In our relationship, I felt that you didn't really have that belief. I felt that. I didn't. But I could be wrong.
But maybe early on, I may not have, because we were so young, and I was still like, what was I, 22?
Right. And the reason why I say that is because we can talk a good game. We can say, you know what? Yeah, I'm smart, or I believe that I can have a business, or I can have any woman. I'm not scared of rejection, or I'll front on him. Wait till I see him. You know, but when you see him, you don't respond.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's an indicator. Or when you don't have that business, when it's like, okay, I'm going to start my business this year. The pandemic, I'm doing my thing. You know, I believe that I can do it. Why haven't you done it? Right.
Yeah,
it might be because of laziness. It might be because of procrastination. But 9 times out of 10, the most number one paralyzing, prominent, or common limiting beliefs.
I was going to say, it's our belief within ourselves.
It's self-doubt.
It's self-doubt. Yes,
it's
it is
self-esteem
self-doubt.
issues. It's you lack the confidence.
Yeah.
So that's the number one.
But for me, in that area, it wasn't that. I think that's a really good observation, because that's a good perspective. I do think that is a good way to look at it, and I agree with that for the most part. It is a limited belief in yourself, but I don't know, like, coming from, I don't even know how to explain it in a sense. Like, being smart wasn't cool.
No, I get that.
You know what I'm
that.
saying? Like,
right.
I grew up with all guys, like all guys. Being smart was not cool.
So your brother's dumb?
No.
So
I mean, they could be.
Hey, fellas,
Listen,
I'm trying to help y'all. You hear what she's
saying? Being a brainiac wasn't cool at that time, right? So I had to fit into that because that's who I was with at that time. That was my crew. You know what I mean? So I had to shape myself, and they were all very smart. They are all very, very smart individuals. Right now, today, I got a cousin who was one of the smartest guys I know. Okay,
smart brothers,
like the smartest guys I know. Antoine, shout out to Antoine, one of the smartest
Stacey. Dumb
guys.
yourself down.
Yes, we dumb ourselves down, and that's exactly what I did, and that caused an insecurity for me because I knew that I wasn't dumb, but I was behaving in a manner that portrayed myself as dumb.
So birds of a feather flock together.
Yes, but none of them were dumb. That was the crazy part. It was like, well, why are we being dumb? Because it's not cool to be smart. I'm a little confused. Like, and so,
but it's crazy. But that's. It's
so
crazy.
when you would
like,
challenge me,
you're
I would
a nerd,
be like,
or there was a negative connotation.
Yes,
to
and
being,
that's so ridiculous.
An intellectual.
Yes,
you know.
that's
but you see, but we came across. Everybody came across that cool guy though. He was a good-looking dude, and he was smart.
Yeah. But that was what I struggled with because here I am knowing that I am smart. Here I am knowing I can do the work. But here I am half-assing it because I had to dumb myself down for the crew that I rode with.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. And there's so many comments, guys, and we don't want to miss you guys, and normally we try to engage.
Yes, let's see what
this is so many. How do we even go back to even communicate with everybody? But it was a lot of good comments here.
Keith Wade says, Steve, where did that hair on your face come from?
I'm in my 40s now, Keith.
I didn't think that would ever happen. That is so funny.
I can actually pull them up here.
Okay, go ahead.
Here, that's good. Wendy said would not be bound by insecurity.
Yeah.
Insecurity is a choice, guys.
It is.
It's a belief and it's an emotions. It's an emotion. Mm-hmm. It's in your body. You embody it. So we got to actually untrain. We got to reprogram, deprogram, and reprogram ourselves by being around different people.
Yes, and by speaking.
By speaking Absolutely.
Different things to yourself. Because a lot of times we have negative self-talk. Like we have very negative self-talk, like, oh, you know,
and
I ain't good enough, or
in our subconscious.
In our subconscious, we might not say it out loud, but in our subconscious, we think these things and we say these things in our minds to ourselves, and because of that, we behave in that way, and we allow people to treat us that way because we already feel that way. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to get anybody better than this, or. You know, I don't make enough, or you know, like,
and our identity, and that's the thing. Our identity is wrapped up in things, or our accolades, or our educational level,
or what we can obtain,
or what we could obtain. But value comes within. Yeah. So you know, and of course, what you do is when we achieve, it's a indicator of self-discipline, but not necessarily self-love or self-worth. Yeah, because we know, look at the celebrities. Yeah. You know, riding off cliffs. They have more women than you could name. They have all the money in the world, all the houses. They've traveled around the world.
Every bag, every
the best
shoe,
cuisine. They ate every
everything.
fish in the sea.
And they're still not fulfilled.
And therefore they see these pills and they try to OD because they're not happy with themselves.
Or they're not good enough.
So you have to connect yourself to something more meaningful, or who you are as a person. If it's God or whatever it is, you know, find a connection. Yeah. You know, you got to really know who you are, and our value doesn't come from all of these superficial things. Yep. Our value comes within. Having a family and spending time with them, you should value that. You know, being here, knowing that people love you, that's value.
That's value.
You know, having friends and family that's in your corner, that you support one another, that's value.
What you do.
Yes, not what you have.
what you do, like
Yes.
to make the world a better place.
Yes.
That's value.
Meaning.
Yeah.
Right. Now, meaning without money is depressing.
Okay, it is.
Now, we're not saying don't
But-
get an education, don't have nice things, but don't stop there, right?
But you think about people that are doing things that
Give us some hearts, man. Give us some
that are
hearts.
super valuable. You know what I mean? That makes them feel worth
Yeah, man. Yes.
it. Like, I think about Erica and all of the women from one mother to another that go out and they volunteer. You know, I think about when I volunteer at work and different things like that,
That's
and
right.
how it makes you feel worth something
Yes.
when you're able to give back, when you're able to do something, and it doesn't have anything to do with what I have, what I drive, what I'm wearing. You know what I'm saying? So many
Yes.
people put their worth in things
Right.
and bury their worth in what they can, the Louis, you know what I'm
obtain,
saying,
yeah.
and all of the things that
But
they
say
can
nice,
obtain.
it's fine.
It's
if
all
you can afford
wonderful.
it, do your thing, like they say, boo boo.
But if the world was to strip you from all of that today,
Man, right.
what would you be?
Where would your happiness lie?
Where would your happiness be?
Yeah.
Because if your happiness is only motivated by the things that you have,
Man.
you're not happy.
Or how much sex you have, or even in the person.
Yeah.
You know, because what
You're
if
not happy.
Right, because life is like they say, is like a vapor. You know, we're here today, we're going tomorrow. But you can't break down if you lose mama.
No.
You know, take what mama has taught you. Find the value.
Yes.
The values that mom has
Yep.
instilled in you. You know, have more meaning to your life.
Have
you
meaning
know?
to our
Like what we're
lives.
doing here, guys, isn't for a paycheck. It isn't for notoriety. And yeah, people try to clown, you know, people about relationships. But the reality is everybody want a healthy
Listen,
relationship
stop
and things like
playing.
that.
Stop
And here's the
playing.
thing. We do this because this is a part of purpose.
And
it
it's
brings so much
meaningful.
meaning and value
It's
to
so-
our
yeah,
lives.
it's so
Where we're not just gaining, but we're actually giving. We don't know it all,
Mm-hmm.
but just to help one couple, man.
Yeah.
To help somebody at least plant a seed in their lives to where they're like, you know what? I'm going to take that little bit and I'm going to apply it.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. You know, a lot of people out here, they have vain desires and they want to be known. Ain't nothing wrong with having followers and stuff like that. We have high expectations because we believe that we over deliver for free. You know what I'm saying? So we understand that transaction of giving, of sowing seeds. However, that isn't our sole purpose.
Right.
We're here for you guys.
Right.
We believe in you. We believe in love. We
Yeah.
believe that if you gain the knowledge that you need and apply the knowledge that you have, get healed, get exposure, like PB just said, which I'm about to pull up his comment, that you can have the life of your dreams.
You can.
You can have it. And we're still,
Oh my God.
we
You
haven't
can
arrived.
You
We-
can have
we're
the
still trying to find it,
relationship.
right?
You can have the relationship of your dreams.
Yes.
You really can. And I hate when
Absolutely.
people be like, oh, they caking. I'm caking because I'm trying to build something
Right.
with someone that I know I can share my life with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But
And
it's superficial
worth.
to them because they've never
'Cause
really
they never
experienced
experienced it.
You know,
You know?
through their relationships. you know,
Absolutely,
through
absolutely.
what they've seen and witnessed.
And we understand why caking is so important when we finally get in a relationship and we're with someone that we can build a life with, that we can
Yes.
build a love with, that we can sustain, you know what I'm saying? A good relationship with. And I think that people, as individuals, those are the things that are most important.
Most important. It's when somebody got to change your diaper. I mean, will somebody be there to change your diaper?
Will somebody?
Right. Or will people leave you there to sit in your boo-boo
Oh,
and die? You know, that's not life.
yeah.
And I've heard a quote about there's more pain in not doing. You know, there's more pain. In other words, just to break it down for understanding, a lot of people, they die with regrets. That's the
regrets,
point.
yeah.
They die with regrets. So look, we got to let go of these insecurities and just step out there on faith or whatever you want to interpret it and try again. Because there are people here listening that gave up on like relationships.
Yeah, like
on
yo,
love.
like
Look,
totally.
man, keep trying, keep
Mm-hmm.
doing. Look, it's what we're doing is a gamble. You know, we believe that we're gonna last, but it's still a 50% chance that we won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a terrible thing to think of.
Yeah.
But we're taking the risks on love.
Yep.
You know, so you got to bet on yourself. So we got to overcome these insecurities
Yep.
so that we can accomplish and have what we desire to have.
Right.
Because look, you can have it, but you only deserve what you earn. So if you're insecure, you're going to get these people that are convenient or conducive to longevity.
Yeah.
You know, babe, so we got to really challenge ourselves, and because we're jacking up a lot of.
He on fire tonight.
I'm on fire.
For real though, for real, because we attract where we are. We attract exactly what we are, and sometimes people be like, "Why do I keep getting this? Why do I keep?" Because you ain't changing.
Yes.
You're not fixing anything. You're not growing. So you just keep going into relationship after relationship after relationship, and you keep experiencing the same heartache because you're not doing anything differently.
Lack of confidence.
You're not even giving yourself the opportunity to work on you.
Yeah, man.
You just go into another relationship as if the next person is going to be the change factor or the savior in the relationship. Like, no, it's you.
Jesus can only save you if you believe that.
It's you, honey.
God can only save you. A man and a woman can't save you. Right?
Like, and it's like we can't do that. We can't keep going into relationships and scorning people and scorning ourselves over and over and over again.
Right.
For the sake of being with someone.
Right.
Or for the sake of having someone. You know, we have to, and I say we because we're all guilty of it a time or two, you know. Right.
And when we finally get something, babe, we're ruining it because of our insecurities.
Because we never healed and
and we're bringing that baggage. Yep. And here's the thing, that there are two sides to this coin, which we don't really talk about.
What is it?
Like, insecure, we are all victims.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, no, we don't have to a certain extent.
To a certain extent,
this behavior was either this trauma that we experienced was direct. It was probably through our life experiences or breakups or whatever. So of course we chose to accept this truth or this emotional state, but we are emotional beings.
Right.
And when we see something over and over again, disappointment, saying that you're ugly, you won't amount to anything, you won't amount to anything, it actually shapes our psychology and we start to believe it. And that's when it drops down into our heart and into our subconscious, and it actually controls our lives, right? So we don't have a lot of time, but I do want to talk about, like, you know, when does insecurity show itself in the context of relationships? In the context of relationships. And I just want to throw this out here because we only got a couple more minutes because y'all young folks got to go to bed, right? Man, this thing shows its ugly head. Number one is when you are out of your partner's presence. Remember we talked about insecurities, big brothers, cousins, jealousy, and control. This is what insecurities breed, guys. It breeds jealousy, envy, control, anger, distrust, cause you to worry, rage, false accusations, assumptions, sneakiness, stress, anxiety, discontentment, as well as manipulation.
And it makes you so irrational.
So these things will show up when your partner is out of your presence. When the brother leave the house, why you tripping?
How long you gonna be?
Especially if he never put this insecurity on you.
What time you coming back?
Ooh wee.
Oh, who all there?
Right.
Oh, you have your mama house?
Ooh wee.
Tell your mama I said hey.
Like, honey, I just went to the store.
Oh, how long you gonna be at the store? What you getting?
Yeah.
How long? What time you coming back?
Right.
It should only take you about 20 minutes.
You get there yet? I only been gone 3 minutes, honey. Not yet. You know, so when we leave out, jealousy is a huge thing. And jealousy is a recipe for divorce and disaster.
Yeah, it's
for
a recipe
separation,
for
right? So these things lift their ugly heads when we're out of each other's presence.
Yeah.
And remember when you were at Dr. Phil? All these insecurities came about.
Man, how did you feel?
I felt angry. I felt worried. I had anxiety. I felt abandoned. I felt rejected.
Yeah.
I was pissed the hell off.
Did any of those things have anything to do with me?
Absolutely nothing to do with you. It was the baggage that I carried over into our relationship. Remember those triggers? Within that context, my wife is gone. That's all I thought. You were gone.
Wow.
And like my parents, never came back. That's what I felt.
Wow.
I felt abandoned, and it was painful. Although consciously, initially, I didn't think that. But once I experienced
because
that.
you were very excited for me to
Yes,
go.
yes.
Like, this is awesome. This is great. This is going to be amazing.
Man.
And then when I left, about the third day in, it was just like
crazy.
Blowing me up.
Crazy.
I would come back. I would come home to like 30 calls. Like,
right. And
well, we shooting, so I can't call you. We out, so I can't call you. And that's why I asked, did any of those things have anything to do with me? Did I make you feel any type of way? Did I display anything that was causing you to feel that type of way?
Absolutely not. It was from my past. And we talked about where it derives from, where insecurities come from. I felt that my parents left me. I was married before. I felt that didn't work. I felt like a failure. You were going out of my presence. And therefore, that narrative or those movies was playing. That music was in the background.
Babe, that's good.
And once that context or that I heard that song of abandonment, the horn sections played again. Bum up, and triggered emotions that were uncontrollable.
Wow.
And a lot of people are in relationships right now and they lack self-control because of the trauma.
Right.
And they're destroying their relationships. They're jealous, like your girlfriend can't even go to work or your wife can't even go to work or go to the grocery store without you checking on her. Mm-hmm. Bruh, you're insecure.
Wow.
But look, it's common. And it's not about what you are. It's about who you will become. Mm-hmm. We don't have to stay there, sister. Look, if he's never cheated on you, if he's never done things that will cause you to make you feel that way, why you riding him like that?
Right,
you're losing him because you're jealous and you want to control where he goes and everything. But it's a disaster to your relationship, right?
That is good stuff. Honey.
So it's triggered when your partner is out of your presence. Number 2 is when you give attention to blank.
Oh,
when you give attention to something outside of them, right? Could you
like like who you talking to, or they playing, I don't know, guys play video games and some women get upset like, you always on that game, you always doing such and such, because they want the attention on them. They're insecure. They feel like you are giving attention to, you're giving more attention to something other than me.
Yeah, and there's a flip side to that, honey, because a lot of men do, we do what we want to do.
Exactly.
We prioritize our desires.
Absolutely.
Now we're not talking about the guy that plays Fortnite 24 hours
17
a day
hours.
and don't give you no romance, no affection, no love, don't take you out to dinner. That's different, right?
Absolutely. I think or the guy that's on his phone all day long, or he got a group chat with his buddies, and why y'all always talking? Or the guy that like to talk to his mom, or who knows, whatever it may be. But ladies, we have to get over the fact that the attention is not going to always be on us. There are other things in their life that is meaningful just as well as you are. And you have to be okay with that. Like, you have to be okay with them having, other things to do, other people to talk to, other hobbies and recreational activities that they like to do. We have to be okay with that. We can't
you got to be self-confident.
But you got to be,
and you got to have your own activities.
And a lot of times we don't.
You got to give and do things outside of your partner, right?
But you know what? A lot of times we don't, because as women, when we get in a relationship, we wrap our everything into that man.
That's because of insecurity.
We will. Yes. This my boo. This and that, and we wrap everything into that person as if you weren't a person before they came along. Man. As if you didn't have friends before they came along. Ooh-wee. As if you didn't have a job before they came along. Right. As if you didn't go places before they came along. As if you didn't, go visit your mom, or you didn't go get your nails done without him. You didn't go to the hair salon without him. As if you couldn't grocery shop without him. Like, you were a whole fully functioning adult before that person ever came into your life. Right. And then all of a sudden, when you get in a relationship, you wrap your entire existence around that person. We can't do that.
No, you can't.
We can't do that, because that is a form of insecurity.
It is.
Because we try to control everything that they do. We try to dictate it. That's why we wrap our everything and our existence around them, because we're trying to control or manipulate the situation to keep them in the vicinity of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? To keep them where you are.
Right, because you feel that they complete you.
Because
you don't believe that you are completed.
Because you're not completed.
And that comes from a lack of minimum self-value.
Yeah.
Or it's a learned behavior, or maybe it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
To where you adopted that behavior or that culture, but it's unhealthy, right?
A lot of times what happens in relationships, especially for women, when we get into a relationship, it's like, it's me and him against the world. And it's like, no, sis, it's not you and him against the world. Like, the world is always going to exist, and you have to exist in it with each other. It's not you and that person against the world. Like, oh, we do everything together. Like,
and it's a beautiful thing.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
a beautiful thing.
Steve and I do a lot of things together, but he needs his own personal time, and I also need my own personal time. And it's okay that we have that, because I'm not insecure in him having his own time.
Right. And we're talking about when people give attention to something outside of them.
Yes.
Like, honey, I just
you
walked
always
out
at the gym.
I just took a phone and I went to the basement.
You at the barbershop
here's
again?
Those triggers. He was sneaky. Your husband was cheating on you.
Or
Your
your
boyfriend was
ex.
cheating, or your ex. Now, anytime that phone rings and he walks out and he's giving attention to something just a few seconds outside of you, there's that trigger.
Yeah. Oh, same thing for men.
Right.
Same thing
absolutely.
for men.
Big time for men.
Like, men be insecure in that area too. Like, who you talking to?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking to your mama again?
Men are worse.
Like,
men are worse.
You mean to tell me you was at the salon for 5 hours?
Right. And here's the thing with men, babe, and not to cut you off, but men, we're insecure because of the behavior that we presented, or the things that we have done, or the things that we know that we've done in our past or in our present moment.
Yes.
So it's projected on them.
Projected,
so if I walk out the room, I'm talking to my honey.
Yes.
If you walk out the room, you must be doing the same thing.
And listen, and that's because when you know you ain't shit, you treat the other person as if they ain't shit. And excuse my French, but that's the truth. Yep. That's what we do to people. Yeah. We put off on people what we have done to other people, or in other relationships. Right. Just because you cheated don't mean that when that person go out and do that same thing that you did when you was cheating, that they gonna be cheating too.
Yeah.
Like, that's not true. And we project those things onto people, and we got to stop doing that, because that's you projecting your insecurity. Deal with yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you was cheating.
Yeah, and we're not.
And you did it.
No, absolutely.
You that don't mean that they out there doing it. Like, you have to. You got to fix yourself. Fix your heart. Deal with what you dealing with. Deal with what you struggling with, because you was no good.
Right. And on the flip side of that, though, we are talking about people that are insecure and have not had experiences other than faithfulness with their spouse or their partner, right? No, this is wonderful. And because there's a flip side to that. A lot of insecurities derive from childhood trauma, but a lot of that insecurity done came from some of y'all niggas. Excuse my French. Some of y'all that put these on these women, they were already dealing with insecure issues. Yeah. But now you messing around on them. Now, and you acting, why you tripping? Because you're making them more insecure, bro. Because you're sneaking so much. Because you got side chicks. Because you got a plant wife. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. They're hearing things. You're inboxing people on Facebook. Bro, don't act like she's an angry black woman. Yes, she is, but why is she an angry black woman, bro? It's because you out there doing trifling things, man. And I'm not implying that nobody's perfect, but man, we got to be real with ourselves.
We do.
A lot of the damage didn't just come from our past.
Absolutely.
A lot of the damage came from our present moment.
Absolutely.
So we have to do some things, gentlemen.
Yes.
To reassure our ladies that it's okay and you're safe with me.
And it don't make you less of a man, because you reassuring your
not
girl that you love her. Yeah. It's not a less than a man, because you checking, baby, I'm just letting you know, I'm at the barbershop still getting my hair cut, or I'm just at the barbershop
especially
kicking
if you've done something wrong to them, you got to reassure them.
You might have to kiss ass for a little while, and that's your problem. You did it. You're gonna have to do the kissing of the behind, okay, for a little while, because you initiated the insecurity in that person. So now you got to deal with the repercussions of it. So if you got to make that phone call to be like, yo, babe, I'm about to go play basketball with the boys for a little bit. I'm gonna be gone for a few hours. Yeah. Then that's your responsibility to that person, because you've created that. Yes.
But ladies, created that monster.
Just because he created that monster doesn't mean you got to keep a finger on that person all the time.
Man, give us some hearts, man. Give us some hearts.
We can't do that though. We can't expect that either.
Expect
now, if he gives that to you, that's one thing. But to have the expectancy that somebody is going to be reporting to you every 5 seconds, like they're your 7-year-old child going down the block to play with with the Legos with their friends, that's just crazy.
Right.
We can't have that expectation. But we also have to remember, if we put ourselves in these situations, we have to do the work.
Yes.
To create a new thing for one another.
Absolutely. And here, check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This is passion. This isn't judgment.
No, it's not, because we've been there.
Because everybody find themselves in situations, compromising situations, or temptations will come. Right.
Yes.
So we're not saying that you guys did anything, but we know the streets.
Yes.
We know how the streets talk. We come from a culture to where things are glorified. So we got to deprogram ourselves and reprogram ourselves with things that are going to be beneficial, not just to us, but our last name, the generations to come, because we reproduce after our own kind, right?
Oh.
So we got to do better, right? That's why we're doing this, because they hold us accountable. It helps us, right?
And I'm glad you say that, because ladies, stop checking that man's phone.
Why so?
Benita, girl, listen. We have to stop. We got to stop doing things in front of our children that are contrary to what we want them to see. We got to stop. Ladies, stop checking the man's phone in front of your kids. Who you out here talking to? Oh, you always talking to. And then your daughter grow up and she think that's what she's supposed to do, is be hovering over a man like a helicopter.
Right.
What you doing? Who phone? Let me see your phone. Let me see your text message. Who you texting? Your daughter's 17. What does she even know about that? You know what I'm saying? What does she even know about? What does she even know about those type of insecurities? But because we dealing with them, and we dealing with them openly in front of our children, we didn't projected that on them. Now they know, they thinking in the back of their head, that's how relationships supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Like, that's not how a relationship is supposed to be.
I think all of us need a woosah. I think all of us, because you know what? We're on, this is very serious, right? And I feel like we're fussing. Are we fussing?
It is a learned behavior.
Are we fussing?
No.
Guys, are we fussing? Because
it's passion.
It seems like we're fussing.
Fire and desire.
We gotta pull it back and be a little more conservative. But there are so many.
We're not trying to be conservative.
Of course not. We're gonna give it to you.
Listen,
some people need to hear it. Some people need to hear it.
Because I wish it was somebody
Yeah.
when we were younger, 16 years ago, when we got together, that was telling. Well, it was Pastor Bethel. He told us the truth. Doggone it, he did. He told us the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Shout out to PB.
And then he told us what we could be.
Yes.
So we believed that, right? So we ran with that.
Right.
But we all need somebody to tell us the doggone truth.
Oh, you need it. And to give it to you in a way to where it ain't pitying you.
Yeah, and it's digestible.
And there was a guy that said he worked in a corporation, and he asked the gentleman. He said, I'm sorry, the wrong story. See you guys next Sunday.
Wrong story. Like, just end it. Like, wrong
but
story.
He said a lot of times we act
Chris
insecure,
Webber.
right? Oh, time out.
What are
But
you
he
doing?
said a lot of times we say things to people the way that we think that they should have it.
Yes.
But a lot of times people want to be told the right way.
The right.
They want you to
tell
tell it
them.
how it is.
Just
because
tell them.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of friends that patty cake our inadequacies and our insecurities. We pretty much agree with one another, and we want to be friends.
If
But
you got
sometimes we
super
gotta
agreeable
tell people,
friends,
we got to tell each other how it
get
is.
you
Right?
another set of friends.
Man.
If all your friends is super agreeable with you, and you know you be on some bull crap, get you a new set of friends.
Yeah,
I don't want a bunch of friends that's just going to agree with me just to be agreeing with me. If I'm wrong and I'm doing something that's wrong, I need my friends to be like, girl,
Read
that was too much data. I ain't been high since 74. I need a joint.
bring you down. Bring me down, PB. We got to bring you down. Need something to calm your nerves, huh?
Listen.
Man,
we gotta get people in our lives that's gonna tell us the truth, y'all. Yeah. Roll with your homegirl that tell you the truth when you need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Roll with your friends that's telling you what's up when you need to hear it. Because it ain't nothing like being a part of a crew or a clique and everybody just agreeing with your bull crap. Ain't nobody telling you stink or emperor your behind is showing.
Right.
Like, ain't nobody telling you.
Man.
Like, tell me, please tell me. I want to know, how can I be better? How can I come up a level? Because that's what's going to help us. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to help us. That I'm not looking to be patty caked because I'm straightforward. So if you can't be straight, if you can't be a straight shooter with me, we going to have a problem. I need you to be like, girl, the way you said that to Steve probably wasn't the way you should have said it in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that because now I got to go back and sit on it.
Truth out of love, absolutely.
And go back and apologize. Mm-hmm. We got to be willing to do that. Don't hang around folks that's super agreeable, guys.
Right. And love me. And we're not talking about those people that, because you got those friends that always critiquing you. You know, you have those ones that's negative Nancy.
We ain't thinking about them.
But we're talking about the people that love you first, that aren't jealous of you, that have your best interests at heart,
and that's gonna be
honest, going to build you up,
accountability.
But that, because love has many facets,
it does,
you know, and addressing things are one of them, mm-hmm. You know, so we can't be afraid of controversy or mm-hmm. What's the other word? That wasn't the word that I was looking for. Confrontation. And it's okay because if somebody love you. You know, you need to accept it, you know.
Yep.
So just a few things because we got to get out here. Should I put on the music? Because I'm tired now. I'm stressed out.
I'm not stressed out.
No, but we hope that you guys have enjoyed this. But there are a few more, babe, before we get out of here.
Yes. What you got?
Is, of course, these insecurities comes when you're out of their presence, right?
When you're out of their presence.
When you give your attention to someone when they're outside of them.
When they're giving their attention to
and
something
when you're in the company of blank, the opposite sex. Ooh. We don't even have enough time for this. Ooh. Baby mama, co-workers, friends. So when you're in the company of somebody other than them, that's when that insecurity comes.
Like, who gonna be there?
What, you don't like me? Let me go. I can't go? Can't go.
Like, really?
And it's when you're in the company of, some people can't even go to work without their partner being insecure.
Or their partner pulling up on
them. Where you at? Where you going to get lunch?
Dang.
No, I'm just with my friend. I'm not with any guys. Oh, it was a guy there before. Oh, he was just up there at the Coney Island. We didn't engage. Like, well, he might have sat at the table, but honey, I love you. I don't want him. Honey, I just
or was
everybody wanted coffee.
Yeah, it was
honey, why you tripping?
Yeah.
My boss wanted coffee. I bought her coffee. I was in her company. I felt like this. Hey, if I get in real good, you know, I can get a promotion. You know what I'm saying? So they needed company. They needed coffee. I was getting coffee, so I brought her coffee. I'm just in I'm in their company, but that does not mean that I want them. Oh. You know, so why you tripping? I don't want them. I'm just at work, honey. I'm at church. Yeah. You know, I'm just with my boys. I'm with my friends. You know, we're just bowling. I'm not doing anything. Yeah. You know, and that's when those things work. You know,
all the time.
It's tough.
That happens all
But that comes from
time.
Insecurities, and that's where that thing comes up.
Yeah.
So if you are experiencing some of these things without a reason, okay? Without a reason now, because some folks been out there doing too much.
Without a reason from that person.
That's what exactly. I stand
corrected.
Because
because there is a reason why you feel the way you feel, but if that person hasn't given you the reason to feel that way, then you need to check yourself.
Yeah.
And not them. Because we be busy checking them and not ourselves. Like, wait a minute, maybe I'm tripping.
Right.
You know?
Look, without interrogating you so bad, you start to believe your lie.
Like, wait a minute. Was somebody there? Like,
yeah, and that's these. Wait a minute. Think about it. It's the context.
Like, it was other.
Right.
But I wasn't talking to them. But I mean, they were there. But that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. If you feel like you got to interrogate somebody, maybe you just shouldn't be with them.
Yeah. And if he didn't give you or she didn't give you a reason to, there's only one common denominator or one issue, and that's insecurity, and that is you. And I know I've dealt with it. I'm coming from a place of experience.
Yeah.
But I've learned my value. You know, I learned who I am. I have a wonderful wife. And even if she came outside of that trust circle, I have to learn how to trust her again.
Right.
You know, we have to work on our relationship. So look, we got to do better. And I believe in y'all. We really believe that just by hearing this and we're delivering it with chips, wine, and a sandwich, we're packaging it in a way to where you can actually eat it. We believe that you can dissect it.
And sometimes we treat people like they're guilty until proven innocent instead of innocent until proven guilty.
Man.
You know, and it's like, yo, I'm not guilty. And it's like, yeah, that's because I ain't caught you yet.
Right.
And it'd be like, dog,
Right.
you don't need to be in a relationship.
Right. And I echo this, honey. It is some fools out there. You need to stop doing what the heck you're doing.
But then you got to stop dealing with them fools, though. Like, stop dealing with those type of guys, because the red flags.
But it's easier said than done when you're married to somebody.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm not even talking about somebody that's married. I'm talking about somebody that's not married. If you're not married to somebody and you keep on dealing with they frickin' ackle bull, shame on you.
Right.
Shame on you. Let it go. Let it go and open your heart to receive love from somebody who is willing to love you how you should be loved. So exposure to the self requires a wise surgeon. And it does.
Absolutely.
Because you can expose some stuff that you are just not ready to deal with.
Yeah.
So it does. And that's why we suggest, unfolding all of that baggage with someone that is a professional.
Right.
Because that's a lot of, sometimes it is a lot of baggage to unload.
Yeah, a lot to like they say, unpack.
Yep.
I'm still unpacking.
Yeah. I think we all are. I think it's safe to say that we are all unpacking. And sometimes we will always be unpacking certain things, but we got to recognize when we are unpacking things and not project it onto the other person and recognize that, hey, that's me. I'm dealing with that. And I'm tripping. And it's okay. It really is okay to recognize those things and deal with those things accordingly. And then, like we said, I do suggest that you deal with it with somebody that is a professional, because it's necessary. Because we got a lot of baggage, We got a lot of baggage.
Yeah, and we don't, unfortunately, especially in the African American community, therapy, we didn't have access.
Right.
A lot of us, due to economic limitations or exposure or just a cultural mindset. We didn't really initiate that engagement, or we didn't know that it was out there available, or we were super spiritual.
Baby, and that's what I was about to say. We would be super spiritual, and we would think that we can pray everything away.
Yeah.
And certain things, you can't pray certain things away. I mean, you can pray that God helps you to be able to deal with certain things, but some things you really have to deal with.
Yeah, and He'll send people into your life to help you.
And it's okay to deal with certain things, because some things you're not going to pray away everything. Some traumas you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Some traumas you really got to sit down and talk to somebody. And back in the day, we only thought we could pray about everything is because we couldn't afford a therapist.
Right.
And the black pastor was the closest thing to knowing everything about everything, because he was the man of the cloth.
And shout out to all the black pastors, because a lot of us would probably be dead right now.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't for that level of spirituality, knowledge, and mentorship to help us, right?
Everything ain't the devil. It's you and your history. And it is taking responsibility for the things that we have done and the things that we have allowed to happen in our lives, so that we can deal with them, because everything ain't the devil. A lot of times we blame everything on the devil, and the devil ain't the devil trying to hold me down. He not. It's you and your bad choice of men.
We have so much more power than we give ourselves.
It's you and your bad choice of baby mamas. Like the devil trying to get me. I got all this child support. The devil trying to attack my finances. He not.
Right.
That's you. You should have used a rubber.
Right.
You know, maybe
Real
your
talk.
pullout game need to be a little bit stronger. I don't know.
Now it's time for us to close.
I don't know. But what I'm saying is everything ain't the devil.
That's true. That's true.
And we can't expect the pastor to know everything.
Right.
So that's another
exactly.
thing. We can't. We put so much responsibility on the pastor.
Right,
and
right.
the pastor doesn't know everything.
Right.
He's the pastor. He is. And he is there to bring the word of God. But he don't know everything. If he did, his life would be perfect.
Yes.
And his life isn't.
Right, or her life.
Or her life.
Right, absolutely.
You know?
I want to read this one comment, babe. But before we read the comment, this is a whole date night, which I think we're going to have to allocate time specifically for this fourth one. And it's when you compliment someone or you're complimented. Woo-wee. We're not going to even go there right now.
Where? I don't see where you.
But you can read this real quick, what Satara said.
Satara said, I went to see a relationship therapist after my divorce, and it was incredible.
Great.
One of the best decisions I've made.
Great. Wonderful.
That's awesome, Satara.
Right.
It's so necessary. It really is.
Right. But what the last one, babe, we can't get into it because it's late.
What?
But the last, an instance where this thing really raises its head, when that insecurity is like, come here, is when you are complimented by someone or you compliment someone.
Ooh.
I don't even want to go there right now because we
What's
don't have
wrong
enough
with
time.
people?
Babe, I don't even think we need to hit. Let's do a specific.
What's wrong with people acting like they can't see? Like
That
your
somebody
eyes,
else is beautiful.
Like you out here, Ray Charles. Like you not Ray Charles. You can see that there are other
Right.
attractive people on the planet. Like
Right.
what's wrong with being able to say, "Oh, babe, that's a nice looking guy."
Right.
That's a nice
Right.
looking man. He got on a nice coat. I like that. That looks nice.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Hey, babe, she got on some nice pair. That's a nice pair
You
of
better
shoes.
not say that. What you mean? You want him?
I like her
What you
haircut. That
mean?
look
You
nice
want
on
her?
her.
What you mean?
Like-
I ain't good enough. What you mean?
Like, no, babe, I'm just saying.
Ooh-wee.
Like, I thought that was nice. He looked
Oh man,
he looked nice. That was a nice looking
right. And
coat.
that's you really want that thing to be strong. Compliment somebody or get
Ooh.
complimented. But we've actually dealt with this. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
In our relationship, and this is a whole nother segment.
No,
so I don't
man,
even.
this is good.
We can't really go. Baby, it's
No,
almost
this
9
babe,
o'clock.
this is good. Like, cause people need to understand that. Like, we got to stop being insecure in that area.
Absolutely.
Because just
Cut it
because
out.
you see somebody that's attractive
Yes.
and you bring attention to it and say, "Hey, that's a nice looking young man,"
Right.
You know,
Or
that don't
they're
mean-
handsome. She's a
or
pretty
they
woman.
handsome, or
Right.
she's a pretty girl. Like, that don't mean that they want that person.
Right,
That
right.
just means that they were observant. They saw something
Yeah.
and they just said it. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, for us, it ain't nothing wrong. If Steve say, like, "Oh, she's pretty. Like, that's a pretty young lady."
Right.
Like, then I look at her. You know what? You doggone right. She
And
is
you're
pretty.
talking about you want to do it tastefully.
Yes.
Like there are always two sides to
Not
a
like,
coin.
look at that big old
Right.
ass.
Or no, like you know, or when a woman walk by you just traveling with your eyes
Yeah,
checking her
oh,
out.
hecky nah.
But the reality is that there's always going to be somebody smarter than you or smart as you, just as smart as you, as pretty as you or more prettier than
Yeah,
you,
and
that's ripped or whatever it might be. But that does not mean we all notice those things.
We all
and that does
notice
not
those
mean that we
things.
want that man or that woman.
Like,
so we gotta, but that's a cultural thing,
It
especially in my community where we came up. Is like, oh, but that's our baggage. That's
crazy.
that. Look, I'm not him.
Yeah.
You know, he used to be a hoe.
Yeah.
Or she used to be a hoe. I'm not him.
Like, I'm
so if
not
I say,
tripping.
wow, she looks nice, or that's a nice suit that he has on, that don't mean that you want that man.
Yeah. 'Cause
But
I
that's
don't.
the insecurity, man. A lot of people, it's hard, brothers. Because
It's hard to
we
hear
got
your
people in our
girl
world.
say that somebody else looks attractive. I can understand
Right,
that.
and that
for
does
men.
not mean that you are not.
But that don't mean that you're sexually
Yes,
attracted to
yes.
them. And I think that's what people need because when we
It's
see
the delivery.
it is
Yes,
absolutely
absolutely.
the delivery. Okay, because listen, girl. Because I didn't see
Yeah,
some
it's a wrong
guys.
way
I
to do
didn't
things.
heard some guys say some things
Ooh,
that I
girl,
was like,
like,
did he
ooh.
just say that?
Yeah.
Like, dang, look at that. Like,
Right.
why would you like? No, like we all can see that her shape is like we were talking the other day in the car, and we were talking about what we
We're talking about when we seen that girl in Walmart, and I was like, look at that booty. Sorry, no, I'm kidding.
We was talking in the car. He's so whack. Like, he's so whack. No.
Oh, boy.
I'm talking about we was in the car. we was on 275, I think, and we were talking about, Beyonce, and I was talking about how, some people or some women may get offended when they hear their husband or their boyfriend or they spouse say like somebody is beautiful or, oh, she got a nice shape. I said, well, we all can see that person has a nice shape.
But I wouldn't encourage anybody to say
absolutely
that
not.
they have a nice shape. But
Absolutely
you recognize a nice shape, right?
But we recognize, and we were having a discussion about it. So
Right.
it was actually a one-on-one discussion about.
But it was this particular topic,
It
we just named
and we
people.
just
We were talking
named
about
people like
examples in certain people, right?
And he said, no, I said, Beyonce is beautiful. Anybody that doesn't recognize that Beyonce is a beautiful looking woman is crazy. And he said, I don't necessarily feel like Beyonce is necessarily beautiful, but she's a complete package. And I
Right.
said, you know what? That's true. I agree with that. Like she is nice looking. She has a beautiful shape. She's in shape. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it is a complete package. And I don't think that it was anything wrong with us having that discussion. It was two mature people having a discussion about something that wasn't affecting either one of us. It wasn't like he was like, "Oh, I want to be with Beyonce."
Right. And it wasn't a random reaction to Beyonce.
It
was
like
a
seeing her on
conversation.
stage,
We were
like,
having
"Oh, she like
an
that's
honest conversation,
like that booty fat." Like he
Right.
didn't.
No,
it wasn't
there's
like
a way,
that.
right,
Like it's a
right.
tasteful
Yeah,
way
yeah,
to
you gotta
have
be
that
mature and tasteful.
discussion.
Absolutely.
And it's okay for that discussion to be had because ain't nobody out here Ray Charles.
Right.
You know,
and
ain't nobody out here
we're not
blind.
going to be disclaimer. We're not going to act like these emotions don't come up.
Right.
If you compliment somebody or if your spouse compliments somebody, we're not saying that you don't feel that emotion. But when you embody that thing and you have an experience with that thing
Yeah.
and it just ruins your whole day, your whole week, and that week turns into a season, it's like that's really insecurity.
Yeah.
You really deal with
Because
that.
the thing-
Especially if that guy or that woman, if you know them and if you know that their intentions they're not trying to be disrespectful. Now, I'm not encouraging people to do this.
Yeah, no,
I'm just saying
no,
if it
no.
happens, don't feel insecure because Beyonce is tight, like they say. But my wife is everything. Like nobody can compare. Seriously, nobody can compare because this woman is not just beautiful, but she got my heart, and it's beyond a look or no. And I'm serious. I want
Okay,
you-
I'm sorry.
I want people to notice, and I want you
Aw.
to. It's beyond that. It's beyond the looks. Although you are extremely beautiful, but you got my heart. You my one. You're my wife. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. I'm not comparing you. Nobody can compare to you.
Right.
Yeah, her hair might be longer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Her weave.
she might have this or he might have
Her
that,
weave.
but they can't compare to the love that I have for
Absolutely.
you. So we have to solidify that love, which we talked about affirmation, which you can go back, words of affirmation, which
Yeah.
is one of the
love
love
languages.
languages.
Yes, the
but
love
we got to
languages.
solidify our love and reassure one another that we love one another. So just in case it happens, don't feel
slighted.
yes.
Do
and
not
feel
feel
comfortable within yourself and know
slighted.
that you're all that.
That's right. That's right. And I think that for me, it's okay that if he sees somebody that is beautiful for him to say that. Like to not say it is almost like I know you saw her. I saw her
Right.
too. And that's okay.
But
We
don't
can-
make it a common practice now. We're
No,
not
like we ain't out here like, oh, she
Like,
fine.
oh, yeah, ain't she, don't,
like
don't she look good?
She
Oh, yeah,
bad
you
as
see his
hell.
arms?
Like I saw that.
No, we're not
Like no,
talking
that's
about
not what
that.
we're talking about.
Right.
But if somebody is paying somebody a compliment, like somebody walks past and be like, "Oh, that smells nice," and then you get upset because they
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that,
they're not-
like it's just
yeah.
an observation.
And it might be a hint like, why don't you get some cologne like that?
Right.
Or you might say, she looks nice, and it's not an offense, but maybe he might say, take out those hair
Yeah,
rolls.
or if somebody else
Sometimes.
comes by and says something, because sometimes we can't even take somebody else saying something to your spouse, like
Yeah, or
we
looking
can-
at or making eye
looking at-
contact.
yeah, like it's okay. Like it's okay.
But can I say this, babe?
Yes.
It has not always been that way for me.
Yeah, it hasn't. I
Because
agree
of my
with that.
cultural background, you do not do that.
Mm-hmm.
You do not compliment another man in my presence. No, I'm the only good looking thing here. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And that's a cultural mindset that I developed.
Take that bonnet off.
But as you become more self-aware and self-confident, and you become real of the reality of beauty and life.
And life.
Why you gonna trip?
Yeah.
You know, everybody don't want your man.
No,
your
I
man
care
don't
how
want
fat he-
everybody else.
I don't care
right?
how fine he is to you. Everybody
Yeah.
else don't want him. Like he
Right.
fine to you. Like
Right.
that's what he fine to. Just you.
Right.
Like everybody else don't think he that big of a deal.
Right,
And it's
right.
okay.
Right.
Stacey says you have to make sure you're complimenting and saying good stuff to your partner before you go complimenting someone else too.
You know
that
what?
causes
You know what?
insecurities.
I'm gonna throw the clap up
and
there.
it
Yes.
does,
Yes.
Stacey.
Absolutely.
Because
Let
if
me
you
applaud that.
because if you don't pay compliments to your spouse, but you out here like, oh yeah, sweetie, you looking real nice out there today. I see
Yes.
you out here looking real good, taking care of yourself. But your
Yeah,
girl
no,
walking
yeah,
with
that's-
you
yeah.
and you ain't
That's
said two
disrespectful.
things to
It's
her.
disrespectful.
It is so
And
disrespectful.
we talk about esteem issues.
Yeah.
If you or insecurity.
Yeah, no, that's so
when we
true,
do things
Stacey.
like that makes your partner even more insecure. So we
Yes.
got to be very wise and not.
But it takes
reactive.
mature people. It does. It takes mature people to be able to see that, to recognize it, say what it is, and keep it moving. Like it ain't.
Right.
Well, you ain't got to dwell on it. It's just
Right.
oh, nice looking individual. I see him, good looking.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. You know, my brother Jeremiah just saw him the other day. Like, oh, Jeremiah, you smell good. You know,
Right. Oh.
and that, ain't nothing wrong with me.
Hold on, we
smelling-
ain't doing all that extra stuff now.
Smelling good, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Hint, hint,
Yeah.
ladies.
But there's more. This is we're broad, but we can get deep into this,
Yeah.
especially about the compliments, because that's a whole nother date night.
Mm-hmm.
But before we go, I just wanted to
give your tips, baby.
just give a few tips. Like if you feel like you do deal with insecurities, know that it's common among humanity. So embrace that. It's not really your fault. You know, if you've been traumatized and you've been through bad experiences, it's almost inevitable that the vast majority become insecure, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
Everybody, there's a correlation between that and insecurity, your experiences, you know. But some people actually do overcome, and we can't. So you are an overcomer.
Absolutely.
However, just a few tips for you guys: don't be a victim. Okay.
Yes.
Don't have the victim mentality. So, don't stay there like, oh, my daddy did this, or my mama did this,
Or my husband
ex
did
I was
this, or
divorced.
my ex
Look,
did that.
you are an overcomer.
Yep.
And remember that insecurity is reversible.
Yes.
It's a mindset and it's an emotional state that could be driven out. And
Yeah.
you can replace that insecurity with self-confidence, right?
And every
You can do that.
relationship needs a fresh pair of eyes.
Yes.
And a fresh start. So don't bring in those insecurities. Be sure to let them go before you move on. Because why are you laughing?
I'm sorry.
Because-
this is a PB said.
Because that next person deserves a whole chance.
Yes.
A whole chance.
Right. And just a few more, because we only got 3 minutes. This
Give it to
has
him,
been
baby.
the longest date night ever,
Give it to
right?
him, baby.
But give us some love, y'all. If y'all really gain value from this, we pray
Give
that
it
you
to
guys
me,
share it
baby.
so that your crazy cousins could actually watch it and get something from it. So
Steve
number
was
one,
on fire today. I appreciate
I was
you.
fussing. I was tripping a little bit.
No,
wasn't I?
you weren't tripping,
I
baby.
wasn't
I
tripping.
appreciate your honesty today because that honesty will help a lot of people.
I hope so.
You know what I mean? Because we all deal with certain issues, and I think that if we don't take the time to be honest, we can't help anyone. You know, we can't. What does the word say? We overcome by the words of our testimony.
Yes.
You know, we can help other people overcome by being truthful, by being honest, by being open and saying, hey, you're not alone. You know,
Right.
I dealt with that too.
Right.
You know, or I'm dealing with that too.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's a good thing. And I applaud you for being 100% honest and transparent today because that
So
that
what
took
you
a lot of
got
courage.
from it? What you got from
I
it?
got you. Give me some.
I don't want no doubt.
I got you.
I don't want no doubt. You
with
know,
that
bro.
bonnet on. I got you.
But look, let me throw these tips out because
Okay.
everybody got to go. Number one, don't be a victim. Number two, you need to ask yourself, is it them or is it me? So if you're in a marital or a partnership, if you're in a marital relationship or partnership, ask yourself, am I insecure because of my past or are they actually putting that on me or making me
Right,
worse? You know?
right.
Number three is you need to start the healing journey. whether it's through therapy, through conversation, mentorship, your pastor or whatever, but you need to start your journey, right? Of therapy, right? Number 4 is you need to start to understand your triggers.
Yeah.
You know, and really know yourself. Become self-aware to know, why am I okay, I wasn't acting like this, but he made a move or she made a move. Now I'm pissed off. You know, and you'll be able to try to mitigate those feelings by being self-aware and dealing with these issues that you're having, right?
Yes.
So you got to learn yourself. Number 5, don't feel sorry for yourself, man. You know, pick yourself up. You are valuable.
You are.
You are wonderful.
Yes.
Your relationship is going to work.
Yes.
You got to work hard at it. You know,
You are valuable.
Yes.
You are valuable.
Yes.
Even in all of our mess.
Yeah,
we are
absolutely.
still valuable.
Yes.
There are still things that people love about us that we love about ourselves.
Yes.
So don't let the past dictate to you how valuable you are. You
Right.
are absolutely valuable.
Yes,
you
you
have
are.
worth.
Oh,